No one's safe here tonight. We are happy to indulge you if you're looking for a fight. No one's safe here tonight. As we rise above your wave of lies, you will only drown yourself.
Laura, sorry, can I grab you for a quick second? What happened out there in the No Regrets Rumble? Where was Chris Brooks?
Where is Chris Brooks? Where is he? That's a good question. I entered the No Regrets Rumble to get revenge on Chris Brooks. And guess what? He wasn't there. He didn't show up. He didn't have the guts to show up.
So what's next?
Chris? I'm ready. I'm ready to face you one-on-one. I need this. I need this match. Me and you, I need to get revenge. I've been struggling since after what you did to me. And I need you one-on-one. Whenever you're ready, Chris. I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, I'll be waiting for you.
The third annual No Regrets Rumble is in the books, and we have no time to waste. Loaded is on the air. Let's get things going. Here's a man who was part of No Regrets last night. His second night here in Defiant for Manchester's own CJ Banks.
And what an opportunity for one CJ Banks to make a huge impact here in Defiant.
The opening contest of London in its singles bout, set for one fall. And it has a 20-minute time limit. Going to the ring at this time, wrestling out of Scotland, England, and weighing tonight, 182 pounds, CJ Banks.
CJ Banks about to have his singles debut here in Defiant, and what a challenge he's got for himself against a former world champion.
He has, but look at the confidence that CJ Banks brings to the ring with him. The people here, they're not digging it, but CJ Banks, he could leave here with a massive victory. Think what this would do for the career of that man if he defeated the prestigious one.
Certainly not lacking self-confidence, but that is also true of his opponent.
It always is.
His opponent, hailing from Edinburgh, Scotland, and weighing tonight, 228 pounds, he is the prestigious one, Sean Kustom!
Hendry obviously with a point to prove given what happened in the No Regrets Rumble last night. You can see the determination on the face of the prestigious one.
And look at this, straight from the off, Joe Hendry with a smile on his face, getting into the face of CJ Banks. And you can see the Banks, Dave, he doesn't like it one bit.
Now referee Chris Sharp, one of the most experienced referees on the planet, he's got a job on here to contain the anger of CJ Banks, who wants to get hold of Hendry from the get-go.
What a match this is going to be right here on Loaded. We talk about opportunities. Joe Hendry, his entire life has been about seizing opportunities. Well, now the shoe is on the other foot because CJ Banks, as you say, Bradshaw, his very first singles match right here in Defiant Wrestling.
All right, Banks and Hendry lock up at the start of a big night here on Loaded. Of course, coming up later on, that rematch from last week. Robbie X and Sean Kustom going to go one-on-one again. What a match that was last week.
Oh, absolutely amazing. But listen, look at the physical shape that Joe Hendry is in right now, dominating the early portion of this match. I know it's early, but physically, Joe Hendry at the top of his game.
You see how hard he took down Banks there. Banks is trying to get out of this wrist lock. Good counter from Banks. These are two guys who, of course, do know each other from their time on WOS Wrestling on ITV last summer, so they are not strangers to each other by any means. Banks, indeed, has been around the UK scene for a number of years, well over a decade now, as Hendry goes for an early cover, and Banks, such a no-nonsense competitor. He has had success throughout the Northwest, where he's based, but also further afield.
Well, CJ Banks physically, we talk about Hendry, or specifically, I talk about the prestigious one in the physical shape of his life, but CJ Banks comes into this with a point to prove, and that could be so crucial here tonight on Loaded.
Well, obviously Hendry with the headlock takedown here, and the question for, not just for Hendry, not just for Banks, but for so many of our talents here in Defiant, after the No Regrets Rumble is what do they do now?
Well, I was impressed by CJ Banks in that Rumble. Personally, I really was, but one-on-one competition here in Defiant Wrestling is something different altogether.
Well, we will be talking more and more, I'm sure, about the fallout from all of No Regrets, not just the Rumble, but the entire event next week here on Loaded in much more detail. Hendry again has taken Banks down with a shoulder block here. Banks goes for the clothesline. Sent to the ropes, Hendry with the high knee right into the upper chest of CJ Banks.
Now, much like millions of people around the globe, I have watched CJ Banks on national television, and it has been broadcast worldwide. Oh,
there's a cover from Banks, and a kick out by Hendry, but you see the viciousness of Banks there as he drives his forearm into the face of Hendry.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Bradshaw. This man brings it every single time he's in that wrestling ring. He brings it, and that's going to be a huge challenge for Joe Hendry.
A knee right between the shoulder blades from Banks. Uppercut, very methodical in his delivery of punishment is Banks, and Hendry is having to fight back hard here. You can see that Hendry was rattled by a couple of those strikes from Banks. Banks has got Hendry in the corner now. And Banks takes him down, uses the boot to rake the eyes of Hendry.
There's the viciousness that you speak of. CJ Banks with the stomp right on the fingers of Hendry. Oh, and that knee right to the spine.
Oh, and you see how he twists the neck, wrenching it to the right-hand side. He tries that chin lock.
And this live crowd trying their able best to get right in the corner of the prestigious one. But CJ Banks, Dave, there's something about this man. He looks so focused.
And there's an uppercut from Hendry. That might knock his focus out. He'll be seeing double after that. Banks with a headbutt right into the abdomen of Hendry. And a snap suplex from Banks. No wasted motion, straight on top for the cover. Didn't hook the legs, and Hendry kicks out on two. Ooh. That suplex reminded me a lot of the late, great Dynamite Kid, whose presence, of course, is always felt here in Defiant through his nephews. But Banks came from a very similar part of the world, trained in Wigan, just down the road.
Listen, Joe Hendry is not a small man. The power it takes on behalf of CJ Banks to snap the prestigious one over in that suplex, it's phenomenal.
Once more, Banks trying to wear down Hendry. You can see he's cutting off the blood supply, the oxygen supply to the brain. Trying to make Hendry pass out here. The crowd are willing Hendry on.
Oh, and look at this, wearing down the prestigious one.
Yeah, that is smart, because you see he's got his legs wrapped around the midsection, his entire body weight, adding extra pressure to Hendry here. Hendry's having to use all of his body strength.
Uh-oh.
Look at this power from Hendry!
I speak about strength. I speak about physical power. Look at that from the prestigious one. Joe Hendry starting to feel it right here tonight on Loaded.
Crowd is starting to feel it here too. Support for Hendry getting louder and louder. Elbow into the jaw of Banks. Banks is going to get sent to the opposite corner. No, he's not. Counter from Banks. Here comes Hendry. Slides underneath. And Hendry right on the jaw, followed by the neck breaker. Cover by the prestigious one. Got the left leg hook, but Banks kicks out on 2.
And Joe Hendry now with a nod of the head. He needs these people behind him. Now, it hasn't always been that way for the prestigious one, but we've seen a change in Joe Hendry. He relishes this support.
Going for the freak of nature, but Banks lands behind him. Good scouting there from Banks. Looking for a German suplex. Arm drag takedown from Hendry. There's so many ways to take you down. That amateur wrestling background comes into play. There is the freak of nature, though. Hendry with the cover on Banks. And Banks kicked out.
Well, Banks going for that uppercut, which worked earlier on in the match. Caught in the freak of nature, but somehow managed to find a way out at the count of 2.
Well, Banks is certainly a wily veteran, very resilient, but he's going to be extremely resilient to get out of this. He's in the Hendry lock here, finds a way out. Banks again will look for the German suplex, and this time he nails it.
And there's that power again, deceptive from CJ Banks. A lot of fans might not associate that with this man, but strength is certainly in his locker.
And Banks has pulled down the knee pad. Banks looking to charge his knee first into Hendry. Instead, Hendry rolls through, gets the leg again and again into the Hendry lock. Hendry lock, this time cinched in. Even more harder than before. Banks, middle of the ring, nowhere to go. CJ Banks taps out and Hendry's your winner.
Here is your winner as a result of the submission, the prestigious one, Joe Hendry!
Joe Hendry back to winning ways after the No Regrets Rumble. And Hendry, what is next for that man?
Well, Joe Hendry, wins and losses mean so much here. That's one in the W column for the prestigious one.
Hendry with his arms raised high. And Joe Hendry, ever popular here with the Defiant fans in Manchester and wherever we go. But as I asked before, the question remains, what next for the former Defiant World Champion?
Hi guys, I've got a couple of things I need to get off my chest. First of all, Drake will not be here unloaded, and he won't be for quite some time. Now, if you haven't seen No Regrets, you won't have seen the Madman Klinger absolutely destroy Drake's arm. But Drake, if you can heal in time for Built to Destroy, I am going to give you a one-on-one match for the hardcore title against No Fun Done. As for Klinger, you don't get away easy, Klinger. You don't do that kind of stuff on my watch. You are suspended indefinitely. Speaking of suspensions, Chris Brooks, I was about to suspend you. But Laura De Matteo has pleaded to me to keep you in the role, keep you and give you your job, because she wants revenge, and that match will happen unloaded sometime soon. And lastly, Martin Kirby. Oh my goodness, Martin Kirby's never been unloaded. He's never defended his title unloaded because of a stupid stipulation that was in a rule book that I created, by the way. However, I have had my lawyers and solicitors to have a look at this rule book, and we have found a stipulation. We have found a clause, and Martin Kirby will have to defend his internet title on YouTube, unloaded, free of charge, just for all of you. And in fact, guys, I'm gonna go give him that message myself.
Alright, Hammer here with the two-time Defiant Wrestling World Champion Rampage. Rampage, you've proven yourself here in Defiant Wrestling again and again. I've got to ask, who's next?
Joe, sorry, can I just grab you for a very quick word? So, Gabriel Kidd's still got your number there. I mean, what's happening?
Gabriel Kidd's still got my number. No. In life, the race is with yourself, okay? It could be Gabriel Kidd, it could be someone else, but the fact is, it is him. There's just something about him that just pushes me to the edge. And I don't know what this is anymore. I was a champion here, but it just seems to me that every time I get the chance to push over the edge and achieve greatness, I fall that little bit short. And that's because I'm operating with a safety net. I'm accepting second best, and I can't do that anymore. You know, we're in an age, and if it's taught me anything, it's the putting all your chips down, risking everything is the way to go. And that's what I'm going to do. Gabriel Kidd, you think that you're better than Joe Hendry, but I know the results don't say it, but this does, and this does. I know that I'm better than you, Gabriel Kidd, and I'm willing to put all my chips down to prove it. So unloaded. You think you're the Iron Man in the Rumble? Prove it one-on-one against me in an Iron Man match. And I'm going to put all my chips down. Loser leaves Defiant. Because if I can't win here, maybe it's time my journey ends for Defiant.
My God, the news coming thick and fast this week on Loaded regarding Joe Hendry, Gabriel Kidd. We're starting to get matches for Built to Destroy as well. And right now, tag team action.
The following is a tag team attraction set for one fall. 20 minutes, time limits. Introducing first, this is the team of Conor Renshaw and the winner of the 2019 Magnificent 7 briefcase, Benji. They're collectively known as RenBen.
This, of course, is going to be a rematch from the night after Lights Out. RenBen victorious on that occasion. Of course, that victory came after some questionable tactics from Conor Renshaw. Benji believes he has reformed Conor since then.
Questionable tactics? Are you kidding me? Since Conor Renshaw has come into Benji's life, they've been successful. Is that not enough for you?
We'll see if it's enough. As Tuck Shop get their rematch.
Their opponents, this is the team of Jack Sexsmith, the Queen of Queens, Visage. They're collectively known as the Tuck Shop.
So Tuck Shop still pretty recently formed here in Defiant, and it obviously has irritated them that they were on the losing end last time against RenBen, particularly given those questionable circumstances. Since then, Tuck Shop have had a win over the Anti-Fun Police, but they will be extremely eager, to put it mildly, to right that wrong as they see it against the team of Benji and Conor Renshaw.
Listen, what is it you said, Bradshaw? Circumstances. Who cares? As long as you win, surely that's all that matters. And I will repeat myself. Ever since Big Conor Renshaw came into Benji's life and they formed this tag team, Benji has been taken to a whole new level.
Well, the hostilities aren't unanimous between these two teams. Benji certainly enjoys a friendship with Visage, and Visage has been warning Benji about the motives of Conor Renshaw in being part of this team. Of course, I'm sure Renshaw would insist that there is nothing awry there.
Well, I have heard you say on the Reloaded podcast that the motives of Benji... Whoa, hold that thought.
Yeah, Sexsmith clearly doesn't have much time for Renshaw either. Benji, though, takes advantage of the distraction with an arm drag. It gets caught. There's a Tilton Well head scissors takedown. Here comes Benji, charges at Sexsmith, lands on the apron on his feet. And Sexsmith gets blocked here. Benji's going to head up to the top turnbuckle. No one home. There's a drop kick right in the face, a single leg. The foot goes into the face of Sexsmith.
I have heard you say on the Reloaded podcast that Benji's intentions, they are always 100% pure. I'm not so sure. I have to be honest, I have my doubts about this man. Whoa.
You're not exactly known to be the best judge of character, are you? Anyway, Visage is in, the wig is off. And this clear mutual dislike between Visage and Renshaw is exploding in ring. It is a spine buster with authority from Renshaw.
With authority indeed. Conor Renshaw feeling it here tonight on Loaded, now tags in his partner. This is what I'm talking about. Expert precision and 100% chemistry.
It's already been a busy day for Renshaw. His beloved Sunderland been in the League One player finals, against Charlton, so he's got plenty on his plate today. But right now his attention obviously focused on this tag team, a partnership which I still maintain is a partnership of convenience for Renshaw.
Sexsmith making the sneaky tag there, taking advantage.
The cover from Sexsmith, and the shoulder goes up from Benji to keep RenBen in the match.
And this is the interesting dynamic of this match. Both these tag teams relatively new, you would have to say. More so RenBen, as I'm calling them.
Sexsmith goes for a cover here. It's a side press, gets a 2 count. Didn't hook that leg of Benji, who's struggling to get any kind of foothold in here against Sexsmith.
And some people have been calling this tag team bench. How disgusting is that? Definitely RenBen. It has a better ring.
Disgusting's a bit strong, isn't it?
It's disgusting.
What's disgusting about it?
Merchandise money in pro wrestling is important these days, and RenBen just has this ring to it, Dave.
Visage with a really hard kick into the ribs of Benji, followed by a cover for a 2 count. Of all the things to get offended by, goodness me.
Who said I was offended?
Renshaw.
This isn't Twitter.
Anyway, Sexsmith and Visage touch up with the double team. Benji, though, rolls away, and here comes Renshaw. Renshaw takes out Sexsmith, takes out Visage as well. And this team of Benji and Renshaw, say what you will about them, but they are certainly gaining more and more tag team synergy as the weeks go on.
And the alpha male of this duet, if you like, is that man right there, Conor Renshaw.
Renshaw sends Sexsmith to the rope. Sexsmith ducks a clothesline, gets caught as he went for the crossbody. That's the power of Renshaw. Renshaw with the power slam will go for the cover. RenBen could go 2-0 here against Tuckshot, but Sexsmith makes sure it doesn't happen.
Now listen, Dave Bradshaw, since day one that I clapped eyes on Conor Renshaw, I have witnessed raw potential. Could we see the genesis of tag team champions?
Benji on the top here. Visage was trying to stop whatever's going to happen here. There's the double team from the vertical suplex position. The crossbody. Benji and Visage was able to stop that pin. I'm not sure Sexsmith was going to kick out.
It's all breaking down now. The referee losing control of this tag team match.
Yeah, it looks like Renshaw is out for the count here, and Tuckshot with the double team on Benji. And the stereo knees right into the temples of Benji.
Well, that could be it for Benji.
From the wheelbarrow position, the lumbar into the suplex. Now great double team from Tuckshot as well. The cover by Sexsmith, and this time it's Renshaw who breaks it up. Great back and forth, tit for tat, tag team action here on Loaded.
Did you see what I just saw? Conor Renshaw with the wherewithal to drag Benji back to his corner, make the tag. I'm telling you, this man is the future of Defiant Wrestling. If he keeps this potential up, Bradshaw, he is money.
A double clothesline there. Benji will launch onto Visage. Both Benji and Visage out to our side here at ringside. That leaves Sexsmith against Renshaw in the ring. Sexsmith off the top, and Renshaw charged in. Went for the knee, and it gets caught by Sexsmith. Sliced bread. I think maybe Renshaw was thinking about, the cover, and he got him. He got him. Sexsmith with the win.
Here are your winners, the team of Jack Sexsmith, the Queen of Queens Visage, the Tuckshot.
You know, I think Renshaw was thinking about going low and kicking Jack Sexsmith below the belt, but he had second thoughts, and on that hesitation, Sexsmith was able to get the win for Tuckshot.
Renshaw should have went lower. Are you kidding me? What worked before will work again. Why the hell didn't Conor Renshaw do exactly the same thing and pick up another win over Tuckshot?
Well, Tuckshot leveling the score against RenBen at 1 win apiece, but what does this result and the manner of this result mean? As there's a handshake there at least, but what does this mean for Benji's efforts to reform the character of Conor Renshaw? Benji said they needed one more win. They have not got it tonight.
here on Loaded.
Kirby? 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 No, Kirby's not in there. Kirby! Oh, no, sorry about that. I'm sorry. Kirby! I just can't find him anywhere, man. I can't find him anywhere. Hey, Kirby! What are you doing in the female toilet?
What?
Okay, look, I need to talk to you anyway, man. I need to talk to you anyway. It's about that title. It's about that title.
What about it?
What about it? I need you to defend it. That's what I need.
Why?
Why? Because you're the internet champion.
Interweb.
Internet
But
champion.
still, why?
Why? Because I found a clause. I found a clause, and it's in the rule book that I wrote, by the way. I found it. And you have to defend it. Unload it.
Why?
Unload it.
Why?
What, why?
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 Here's why. Because I want to face you for this title, as Jeremy said on episode 11, in front of a worldwide audience.
Brilliant. See, the clause says, if you have a YouTuber as a wrestler, he can fight the internet champion at any time, free of charge, unloaded, in front of a worldwide audience.
That's it, that's the clause.
So Kevin, get prepared, because that match will happen sometime soon.
Well, I'll tell you what, Martin Kirby's night going from bad to worse. We now know that Simon Miller will be granted a shot at the internet title, the place where he normally refuses to defend the title, unloaded.
Loaded continues with his singles match, simple one fall. With a 20-minute time limit, coming to the ring at this time from Sydney, Australia, winning tonight at 200 pounds, he is the Thunder from Down Under, Sean Kustom!
Let me tell you, Dave Bradshaw, I'm sorry to interrupt, but what an absolute disgrace. Simon Miller going one-on-one with the internet champion, Martin Kirby. Are you kidding me? What kind of match is that?
Calm down, take some breath. We got a great rematch here, great rematch from last week. Sean Kustom with a chance to get the win he craved and could not get done last week against this young man.
It's going to be a huge match here, but I cannot believe what we just witnessed. Simon Miller!
Stop it, you're hyperventilating.
His opponent hails from Lincoln, England, and weighs in tonight 178 pounds. He is the innovator of excellence, Robbie X!
Robbie X, if you remember, got the pinfall victory via a roll-up last week on Sean Kustom as Kustom was going for that brainbuster. Kustom immediately after the match asking for a rematch 7 days later. Robbie was more than happy to oblige, and here we are.
Here we are indeed. And if that first match was anything to go by, Bradshaw, we're in for a doozy here tonight on Loaded.
These two are good friends away from the ring, but of course in the spirit of competition that friendship goes out of the window the moment the opening bell sounds. Their respect for each other, I'm sure, only grew as a result of that tremendous contest last week.
Do you know what I would do? As soon as that bell rings, which it has just done, I would kick the other man in the balls and take the cheap victory. That's what I would do.
And that is why you don't have many friends. Kustom gets sent to the ropes and a shoulder block.
Bradshaw, it's not called show friends, it's show business.
There's a leapfrog, a back leapfrog from Kustom, so agile is the Thunder from Down Under. Whoa! Cartwheel lands on his feet. Robbie is a little frustrated that wasn't enough to take his rival down.
Well, if you watched the first match between these two men and you thought it was damn good, and you think you're watching this on repeat, they are just that good. They move like poetry in motion.
It's a deadlift, going for the deadlift German suplexes. Robbie X, Kustom put the brakes on, goes behind, he's going to send Robbie into the corner. Kustom almost went face first into the turnbuckle, instead he gets hip tossed. And there's a cartwheel of his own from Robbie.
We're less than a minute into this match and already I'm tired.
Cover by Robbie X, kick out on 2 from Kustom, and these two are picking up exactly where they left off a week ago.
And it's going to be so interesting to see if the result is any different this time around than what we saw last week.
Cover by Robbie, gets another 2 count. And Robbie X, that win last week was so important to him. He'd had a pretty mixed start to his Defiant career before that point. There's the big chop across the chest. And you can see the grimace on the face of Kustom.
Never mind that, the roar of sheer anguish and pain from Kustom.
And Robbie X seems to have slowed it down a little bit, or has he? In fact, he's sending Kustom to the rope, so the pace quickening again here, and drop kick from Kustom. Sean Kustom, one of the few men on the Defiant roster who can keep up with Robbie X when that pace does speed up. Uranagi slam from Kustom. Asai senton splash. The cover by Kustom, and a 2 count, Robbie out again.
It's going to take a lot to put Robbie X down for the count, because he realises, Dave, that 2 wins on the spin against the Thunder from Down Under would mean a hell of a lot for his career here in Defiant.
We've already seen one rematch here tonight. Tuck Shop, of course, levelling things up against RenBen or Ben Shaw, not to make you even more upset than you already are. There's a face first into the turnbuckle goes Robbie X, courtesy of Kustom. Kustom will be hoping to follow in the footsteps of Tuck Shop and level things up here against Robbie X. And that's going to help him do so. This will help him even more. There's the neck breaker.
With a cover.
Kustom hooks the leg. It's a 2 count. Kustom, I know, has had a minor injury the past week or so. He's had to cancel a couple of matches, but he looks like he is pretty much 100% here. He has not missed a step so far in this match against Robbie X.
Well, I wonder if Robbie X knows that, because if he does, use it to your advantage. You have to take every shortcut you can in the cutthroat world that is Defiant Wrestling. There's no room for sentiment.
You are even more cynical than normal tonight. There's a drop kick from Robbie.
Well, listen, this is a huge main event, witnessed all around the world. Take every advantage you can.
Running uppercut. Tremendous impact off that uppercut from Robbie X, and gonna pick up Kustom on his shoulders. Kustom escaped, but took a kick from Robbie into the corner again. Robbie goes face first into the turnbuckle. There's that overhead double kick. This time gets him. There's a rolling Death Valley driver. The cover from Robbie X to go 2-0, and Kustom ensures that doesn't happen, gets the left shoulder up, and we are still alive here in Manchester.
Well, I believe that Robbie X certainly did think he had justification for a 3 count after that massive move. Didn't quite happen. Impressive from Kustom to kick out. But what is going to be X's next move here in this match?
Robbie is trying to send Kustom to the ropes. You see Kustom's got that right elbow hooked over the top rope to put the brakes on. Robbie X having to change plans, go for the chop. The friendship between these two going out the window.
Respect inevitably does, eventually.
Well, here comes Robbie. Kustom catches him, or tried to. Robbie X, I think, changed plans in midair, and now here comes Robbie X. Kustom goes down, and Robbie X landed on his feet, for goodness sake.
Robbie X looking damn good here in the main event of Loaded. Listen to this.
Robbie X has earned the support of fans here in Defiant. From moves like that in particular, that swinging kick under the bottom rope. Robbie measuring him, goes for the moonsault from a standing position. Here comes Kustom, and both men into the crowd barrier. The Uranagi on the ring apron, my goodness.
Sean Kustom, like a bullet. The intensity of this one, Bradshaw, just dialed up a notch.
Well, we could be in the closing moments, because there's the frog splash from Kustom. Kustom, the cover. Will that do it? No.
Wow.
Another phenomenal bout between these two, developing here for the second consecutive week.
And these people firmly behind Robbie X, but I bet you, deep down inside, no one inside this building can fail to be impressed by what they're seeing from Sean Kustom.
Both men in opposite corners, pulling themselves up. Gut check time in this main event on this week's Loaded. A slap across the face from Robbie. Nothing pretty about that, but it was effective. Robbie X, top turnbuckle. Kustom in a dangerous position. Tried to charge Robbie again. Adjusting, but Kustom with the kick, and then Robbie lands on his feet. Spinning into Guri right around the back of the head of Kustom. Robbie going to the ropes. Went for a lariat, didn't get it. Kustom's gone rear waist lock here. Oh, elbow right into the ear of Kustom. Robbie X took him down. There's a standing senton. Kustom in trouble here. Kustom may be out, just about. Got that left shoulder up, but Kustom is decidedly worse for wear in the past few moments here.
Well, that's all it takes. One slight miscalculation is all it takes. When you're moving at that speed, you can almost hurt yourself. If you do not connect with your opponent, it spells trouble for you. And now, Robbie X firmly in control.
There's a big elbow smash from Robbie. Slap across the chest, but not much authority behind that, it has to be said, from Kustom, who is very much on the back foot at the moment.
Definitely more meat behind the strikes of Robbie X.
You just get the impression, you just get the impression that Robbie X has a little bit more in the tank at this point. Or maybe not. That was quite the uppercut from Kustom. Kustom's going to remove the elbow pad. Took too long doing it. And the backhand across the face. He'll go for the exclamation. But Robbie, Kustom moves out of the way. Kustom gets him. No, he doesn't. There's a swinging kick. And there we are. Forearm knocks out Robbie X. Robbie X is out of it. They're going for the brainbuster. That was the move he tried for last week when Robbie countered.
He nailed it that time.
Both legs hooked from Kustom, and Robbie X kicks out. Unbelievable stuff here.
What action here in the main event of Loaded. Listen to this crowd.
Once more, the crowd, still majority, I think, of them behind Robbie X, but Kustom is clearly gaining some fans here as he goes through this match with Robbie X. He's looking for the customizer.
This could be it.
Robbie made sure he escapes, lands on his feet, grabs the right leg of Kustom, picks him up. Sit out powerbomb from nowhere from Robbie X. A kick out on two. How on earth did Robbie X manage to sit out powerbomb from that position?
Incredible power. Just unbelievable. And now Robbie X, what does he have in mind next? Oh!
Knee right into the face after treading on the fingers. He'll go for the exclamation a second time. Countered by Kustom, countered by Kustom. And this time catching him on the way to back, right in the face. Robbie X may be out. Here we go. The customizer nails it this time. The shoulders of Robbie X down, and Sean Kustom wins the rematch.
Here is your winner, the Thunder from Down Under, Sean Kustom!
They are on their feet here in Manchester in recognition of an outstanding main event between Sean Kustom and Robbie X.
Standing ovation here in Manchester. These people, they respect what they have just saw. Both these men leaving everything inside the ring. And what a match that was, Dave. Wow.
Last week, it was Robbie X with the win. This week, victory belongs to Sean Kustom. But it may sound like a cliche, there are no losers in a match like that, because both of these men gave it their all. And anyone who is watching this around the world on YouTube, as they acknowledge it's one win apiece, anyone watching this will believe that the stock of both of these guys has gone up.
These fans, they certainly already reading the minds of both these men, Kustom and Robbie X. Are we going to see it one more time? I hope so.
Sean Kustom victorious to tie it up 1-1 against Robbie X in this week's Loaded main event.